What's going on, guys? Steve here again, Roadworthy Revivals. We've got to take a break from the Buick today because it snowed a fair bit. So I've got this Ej25 Subaru motor sitting here to tear down that I pulled out of an 09 Subaru that I fixed up the other day with a new engine. And we're going to find out what went wrong with this one. I can tell you already, she was making some bad noises, probably from the bottom end. And it was getting really hard to crank this thing over with starter, with bar. It still ran, but she wasn't going to run much longer the way she was. So without further ado, let's dig in. Maybe we'll pull these spark plugs out first. I haven't even had these out yet. That was tight. Yeah, first one there. A little black, doesn't look too bad. Here's a similar story on that one, maybe a little more glazed over. About the same deal there, and these are NGK plugs. And yeah, this one's probably, other than being a little furry, the best looking out of all of them. Now I have had this intake off because I ended up swapping the intake from the other vehicle. Because it was out of a 2010 Legacy, and there's the pins are a little different in the main harness, so I didn't want to have any issues, so we just swapped the whole intake. Alright. Oh, we'll bring you in for closer inspection here. Okay. Looking pretty nice down in there. Nice and clean. This one as well. Yeah. A little bit of crud just from pulling the intake off, but looks pretty darn good. This engine did have head gaskets done. I don't know how many miles. Whoops. I don't know quite how many miles that was done before I got my hands on the car. But hopefully, you know, when they did that, they machined these heads, did it right. It looks to me like we just got the standard coated gaskets that are prone to failure here. So maybe now we'll move on to this coolant tube here off the top. There we go. Easy. Some of these PCV hoses out of the way. Okay, I think now I'll go ahead and zip off crank pulley and timing cover here. Yeah. Belt wise, we're looking pretty good here. I know sometimes you can get a knot from these tensioners if the tensioner fails, but this one seems alright. I did pull this one cover off before I yanked this motor out just to see if this belt was flopping around at all, and she seemed fine. Now, let's get that out of the way. That's a good belt. There it is. Oh, making a little mess. Okay, well, why don't we pull these timing gears off? Go. Alright, that's pretty well the front of the motor stripped down. I guess there's another little cover here. Oh, better get my drain pan. Hey, there's that little front cover off of it. We'll definitely dissect this oil pump here later in the video. Not seeing any flow here, any water in there. Or metal shavings at this point. There is a slight sparkliness maybe in the pan there, over on that side. I mean, I know there's going to be bearing damage in this motor. I don't know why I'm even bothering to look, but yeah, you can see some sort of sparkly lines and chunks starting to come there at the end. Alright, we'll plug her up there so we can retain that in the oil pan, and then we'll look a little closer at that once we get in there. Now I think we'll, well, maybe I'll zip this water pump hose off of here, and then we'll start pulling these valve covers. Definitely not an original hose. Too bad there. She's already coming off. Oh, dipstick. Forgot the dipstick. There we go. Okay, so first things first, here's our head gasket. These don't look terribly old in my opinion, and I don't see any obvious issues with this particular side. Where's the cylinder head goes? Yeah, nothing too funky there. Don't see any evidence of valves hitting pistons. None of that nonsense. We'll do a quick little test here. Yeah. Both of these rods do appear to be attached. Alright. Only really getting play down here on this particular rocker arm set. Okay, well, let's crack this head off. Okay. Okay. This side's a different story. Looking in here, for starters, looks like we got a little bit of damage in here. Maybe had a little piston to cylinder head contact. And over here we got one valve stuck open and one closed on the intake side. I thought these were supposed to open and close simultaneously, but I could be wrong. We'll have to look into that. Now, give our little test here. Uh-oh. Did you see that? That guy there. She moves on its own. That's sort of a half disconnecting rod. So almost certainly we have spun rod bearing on that particular cylinder. You can even see around the edge of this piston where it's hit the cylinder head. Kind of what I expected to find in here. This gasket also appears to be in decent shape, indicative of head gaskets being done fairly recently. Yeah, I don't know if somebody screwed something up or this is just typical Subaru failure, but I say we go ahead and we tear it right down. Let's split this block in half, get the pistons out of it. Okay, well, I guess the oil is still on the stand here. Let's zip this oil pan off. There we go. Ew. Yeah, okay. Well, plenty of forbidden glitter and bearing material in the pan, as expected. Having a look here, definite bearing chunks in the oil pickup. We got that same sparkly stuff all over the place. We will pull off this pickup tube and this baffle, see if we can find that loose rod bearing. So shiny. Oh yeah, more of it in there. So, you guys can see that. Oh, it fell right out. There was a chunk of bearing hanging out of that rod there. Oh yeah. Look at how much it moves. Yeah, it's really bad. Really bad. We're still going to split the block just for fun. Because I don't think this crank is any good. We can throw that out, but I'm sure the engine case itself is probably still good to somebody. I guess we haven't pulled the oil filter yet. I'm sure it's full of nice sparkly stuff. No need to even open it up. It's actually heavy, heavier than it should be. There's one. Okay, so once you get your corresponding pistons at the bottom of the bore, you can get in here and get your little C-clip out of there. Hold your wrist pin in place. There we go. Then we'll have to go in from the back with a long tool and hammer those out of there. Well, winner seems to be 12 mil here. Come on, they're good and tight. There we go. There's a lot of bolts holding this thing together. Okay, pretty sure that's all my case bolts. Now, I guess we'll get her off the stand so we can get at the back side of the motor here. Alright, so we got her up on the bench here. Prying on. Nice little O-ring in there so she don't leak. Okay, I guess we have to rotate this motor around now so I can get those other two pins. It is getting a little easier to spin now that I've got all the case bolts out. This kind of tells me that maybe the main bearings aren't very happy either. Oh, there we go. Alright, I'm going to try pounding a T27 into here. got another plug. Look at that. Well, tell you one thing, I'm glad we're taking this all the way apart because that pin just dropped or clipped down into the block. Sure, I could fish it out of there if I rotated this around and stuff. So now, yeah, somehow we got to get all the way through and pound those pins out. Okay, so you can see here I was able to hammer them wrist pins through. There we go. Here's one. Alright, it's half the battle. One more. There we go. That's out of there. Okay. Now, should be able to go ahead and split this case. Boom! Two halves of an engine. Okay. Get you guys right in here as we do this. Oh man, these bearings are ugly. Okay. Yeah, there's that little clip. Okay, I think we'll just pop these pistons out of here. Heavy skirt wear on that one. Oof. Yeah, same story there. Looks like the oil rings are stuck. Wow. Wow. Get these guys out too. Yeah, same thing here. Ugly, ugly, ugly. Definitely not reusable. Ooh, ooh, we even got a broken piston. This is the one that hit the top of the bore. Wowza. Okay, well, last thing to do here is going to be to pop these rods off. Give you a look at just how much slop's in that one. Hey guys, I just pulled the oil pan up onto the table. I want to show you something. I did not touch these two screws. Look at that. They are almost fallen completely out. So whether this happened at the factory and those didn't get torqued, or somebody replaced this oil pump, which I kind of suspect the latter, being that this engine had a lot of work done, this is probably going to be the reason this engine blew up. Yeah, that's some pretty heavy scoring there. Yeah, this pump is ugly. Yeah, just smoked. Wrapping this up here, guys. You can see these main bearings. Haven't got much brake clean left, but there's heavy scoring and wear in every one of these bearings. They are just smoked. There's even some damage here on this case where, I mean, I suppose the rod, maybe as it was moving around, was contacting that. Over here, this is our rod that had the spawn bearing. There's not even a trace of the actual bearing left. Again, we got that busted piston, that heavy skirt wear, the crank. I mean, the journals are just smoked on that thing. Just garbage, really. Oil pump, smoked. Haven't really looked too closely at the cylinder bores yet. Still see some cross hatching here, but oof, very rough across there where all that heavy skirt wear was. I'm sure it's the same story on this guy. Ooh, yeah. Well, there you have it, guys. My first Ej25 Subaru Teardown. Hope you guys enjoyed that. If you want to see more of this kind of thing, let me know. If you want me to just stick to the Will It Run revival videos, I can do that. Those are fun. This was just a good job for a snowy day, though it is melting fast. But hopefully we can get back out there and get cracking on that Buick again quick. Till next time, guys. You're watching Roadworthy Revivals.